Let's put our hands together for the gentleman to give us an education session on parliamentary procedures. I invite distinguished Toastmaster Ali Shahbaz Ali.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Our amazing MC, Toastmaster of the Day, Saira Ranj. And I would agree with one thing. Bahrain has become your first home now. I'll just share my screen. Here we go. I believe everybody can see the screen. Just give me a thumbs up, Toastmaster of the Day, if you can. Perfect. Thank you very much. Visionaries, Toastmasters from around the world, especially our guest coming in today from Australia, Canada, and also our past member who is from New Zealand in every other meeting. For the benefit of the guest, I'll just rush through the parliamentary procedures series, which we do in our Vision Advanced Toastmasters Club meeting. So here is just a quick recap. We started with some introduction of parliamentary procedures. We won't be going point by point, but you can take a quick screenshot since we discussed most of it in details. This is for our guest or our returning members in case you missed the previous series. We spoke about the founder or the person behind Robert Rules of Order, and we also discussed why do we follow Robert Rules of Order in Toastmasters. Some definitions, very important ones, which we don't hear only in our club business session at times, but in the area level, district level, and even at the international convention. Quorum is very important one, constitution. Fundamental principles were discussed. The order of business for a professional, meeting, which follows parliamentary procedures. We also tried a few examples of issuing a main motion to the floor. This is the chart which we are following in our series. There are 13 motions, and number 13, which happens to be the main motion, we discussed that this is the lowest ranking motion. And as it goes higher, 12, 11, the motions become more stronger. Okay? Can anybody unmute and say which category did we finish in the previous series? Anyone? Or can anybody tell me what categories of motions are there?
I believe we have reached 7, isn't it, DTM Ali?
Yeah. Okay, that's very good.
Yes.
We reached almost 7. Actually, we finished 6 as well. That, however, very close. Thanks. And how many categories of motions do we have? Or type of motions? You can see it on the screen. It's open book.
You've got it there. You've got privilege,
13.
you've got subsidiary, and you've got main, 3 types.
3 types. And actually, what I was saying in the previous series, that there are even more. But in Toastmasters, this is what we are dealing with. We are done with all these motions, the subsidiary motions. Just for the benefit of the guest, if they want to know more about subsidiary motions, in case you don't know, these are motions, a group set of motions, which are there to take care of the main motion, to amend, to postpone, referring the main motion to a committee. So this takes care of the main motion. If there is no main motion, then there is no point of subsidiary motion. Okay, that's how the nature of subsidiary motion are. It depends on the main motion. So we don't go to the phase of brain fart. So this is the reason I'm telling you all this. Okay, privilege motions. This is where we begin for today. In every series, we try to cover 2 or 3 motions from every category. Since we are reaching towards end of the series, I'll go a little slow since we have the whole term. Now, again, there are a few more privilege motions, but we'll just discuss what is necessary to handle Toastmasters meetings, whether in club or even at the district council. And sometimes privilege motions are there to handle issues at corporate board meetings. And people who have worked at that level of the board, they might have seen these motions in action, or they can start using them if you happen to be a director, a CEO. So this is how important privilege motions are. Now, though you see number 1 is called for the orders of the day, but actually it is the lowest ranking in the privilege motion. Number 5 becomes the highest ranking. Okay, just a point for information. Now, call for orders of the day. Before I tell you something about it, can you give me a few words what it might mean? Call for orders of the day. You can either put it in the chat, you can talk about it.
Calling the meeting to order?
Okay, the meeting has been already called to order, and that's why we are in the business session. So it's not that call to order where the president or the head of the meeting says, I call the meeting to order. It is kind of a different thing. You want to take a second guess, DTM Claire?
Business matters to be raised?
Business matters to be raised. Yes, almost there. 99%, it's there. Anybody else?
Business matters to be discussed or mooted.
Business matters to be discussed. I see on the chat as well from our GE, motions on notice. Okay, so it's somewhere there what you're telling. Let's go to what it actually is. Okay, so you all are very close to it, but we need a little bit tweaking here. So call for the orders of the day. Let's understand first of all how it works. The purpose is to require adherence to the agenda. Means you are bringing it to the attention of the chair, the president, or the district director, the area director, division director, whoever is chairing, that excuse me, sir, excuse me, madam, please can you go back to the agenda? I think so. We are gone off track. We are not following the agenda for the day. The agenda says something, we are doing something else. You need to be professional. Now, I personally, being a district parliamentarian for 3 times, I have seen sometimes members being very rude, getting up in front of 200 people, kind of just to show off, and they just say, district director, what is this? We didn't come here for this. The agenda says something and we are doing something else. I didn't come all the way for this. We need to be a little polite. So what I see is some people take advantage of little bit of agenda going off track at times. It's not happening in virtual meetings because there's always an option to mute. But in physical meetings, I actually have seen it's too late when the member takes the mic and can say whatever they want to say. It happens even at the TI convention at times. So we need to behave well. Just because we understand rules, I always say we don't need to make fun of others. So the nature of this is may interrupt the speaker. Yes, the president or the district director can interrupt. There is no need for second. It can't be debated. It can't be amended. Now, can it be voted? I purposely didn't put anything there, so to make it a little interactive, because they say parliamentary procedures is a very boring subject. So, so can we vote for it? Anyone?
We can.
I don't think so.
Okay,
I
good.
think we can. I think we could. Because it's a business session. Votes are counted.
Okay, that's a good guess, everybody. Now, in privilege motions, we don't need to vote for every motion. Now, especially this one, the chair rules it in, rules it out. It depends on the chair. The chair can say, we are very much in the agenda. I don't accept it. Okay, we are following the agenda, we are fine. Okay, or the chair can apologize, thank you, we'll go back to the agenda. So this is some more details. You can take a screenshot of this if you wish. It's vote needed, none, it's ruled on by the chair. Okay. Okay, that's a different motion. Okay, let us start with this motion. Raise a question of privilege. Now you can see the answers here anyway. So what do you think happens in this motion? Can somebody give me an example quickly, since we already hit green? Anyone? Quick, please. An example. You can see the definition there. What do you think happens here? No takes. Everybody's in the BF phase.
I think your purpose mentioned here is self-explanatory. That if the rights of the group are affected in any way, that's when you bring this up, the privilege motion. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, it's great. So what happens here is there could be or you remember in our district council meetings, especially in the Middle East, when we used to be the largest district, people at the back sometimes could find it hard to know what the district director is saying. In some corner of the district council, even if someone is using the mic, people at the back cannot hear what motion are they stating or what problem are they talking about. So this hasn't been used professionally at that time. We see people sitting at the back all standing up or raising hand. Excuse me, we cannot hear. What are you discussing? You know, and I've seen that people going angry sitting at the back. And by the time sometimes even the motion is adopted by the people sitting in the front, the voters sitting at the back couldn't participate well, and they keep arguing about it even after the council is over. So here is what they can do. Ask for the mic and raise the question of privilege. Let's see an example here. Mr. Madam President, it could be anybody, area director, district director, or even international president. I rise to a question of privilege affecting the assembly. Now, like every motion, it has to be recognized by the chair, and the member can simply say it is difficult for those of us in the back of the room to hear the speaker. Could she please use the microphone? Okay. So DTM Osama, do you agree with this motion?
I agree with the motion, but I have a question. Why the president has to, it's like giving a permission to speak to the member A?
Most of the motions require the chair's permission to go ahead, respecting the chair. There are few motions which does not require that. And we will come to, I think we already discussed that. It starts with P. What is that motion? Which doesn't require chair's permission to speak. Okay, I will say the word, it starts with point.
Point of order.
Point of order. So this is of that nature where we don't require the president's or the district director's permission. we can just raise point of order, Mr. President. I think this is missing. Okay, so but most of the motions, they do require acknowledgement by the chair for many purposes, of course. Maybe the chair didn't listen to you and you are going on speaking. The chair is busy doing something. So the chair must acknowledge to say, yes, please go ahead. I am with you now. Okay, since it's yellow, this is what we will be discussing in the next meeting, which is recess, a very interesting one. So I'll stop my slides here and let's go for Q&A for both the motions. Any example you want to share, you might have seen in your district conferences, which could have been better if these two motions were used, or if they were used, were they appropriately used? Anything you can share, please.
DTM Ali, I have a query. In
Okay.
case a member sitting in the club has a query or a doubt to ask the president, will it be raised as a normal privileged motion to ask the question on the main motion, or how will that query be answered?
Now, again, for even for that, the member has to raise his or her hand. Mr. Madam President, the president has to acknowledge, and then the member should begin. I have a question and or a point of clarification. The president must say, okay, please state your point. And that's the proper procedure. Normally, we don't see that happening from both sides, neither the sender, neither the receiver. But that's the proper way, because when these things are minuted, the reader must see that, yes, they are actually following procedures, acknowledging, responding. And this is what I saw in big board meetings. I was called as a parliamentarian once in a local company here in Bahrain. And thanks to God, all this information of parliamentary procedures could only help me govern that meeting. And they were so impressed on how do you know all this? Because normally they used to bring a parliamentarian from outside to take care of this meeting. So God bless Toastmasters program for giving us all this knowledge. So yes, acknowledgement and getting back must be there. Timer, DTM Rashid, is that the time for the whole session, or we have separate time for Q&A?
We are we currently 17 minutes.
Oh, okay, okay. So we'll stop here. If you have any questions regarding these two motions, you can send me by chat today and I will be able to reply. Thank you very much. Over to you, our wonderful Toastmaster of the day, Saira Ranch.